Hey everyone, hope you're having a good week. My article was sleep problems associated with behavioral and psychological symptoms, as well as cognitive functions in Alzheimer's disease. So Alzheimer's disease is one of the leading causes of dementia. It is a progressive disease resulting in the degeneration of brain tissue and loss of cognitive functions. So because of this, it's common to see AD patients develop cognitive and behavioral issues, which lead to connections to sleep problems because that's considered a behavioral issue. So various studies have been done associating sleepiness with cognitive decline. This study in particular evaluated the associations of nighttime sleep specifically in AD patients. So methods. This study selected 117 subjects from a South Korean university rehab center. Of these 117 subjects, 63 were AD patients, and then 54 were considered non-AD patients or non-demented elderly patients, so those not affected by Alzheimer's disease. So of these 54 non-AD patients, 42 were considered to possess a mild cognitive impairment, and 12 were considered to be normally healthy. And for all 117 of these subjects, various blood tests were done, detailed medical histories were collected, and then physical and neurological testings were done for demographic purposes. And then for the actual study, this was done through neuropsychological testing, statistical analysis using SPSS, and then sleep quality questionnaires. And these are listed up here on the slide. So the first one is known as the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index. This is an index first introduced in 1998. It is a sleep scale based on a self-assessment questionnaires, and this consists of around 19 items, which generates a 7-component score. And this 7-component score isn't uniform with every test, so it can be different depending on what the researchers want to test for. So you'll see that in the coming slides. The second neurological test is the Seoul Neuropsychological Screening Battery, and this is actually one test comprised of many different ones. So these include tests for attention, language, praxis, or action or movement, parietal and visuospatial functions, as well as memory, both verbal and visual. And some of these tests include the SVLT, which is a learning test consisting of around 12 words that the subject is instructed to memorize, and then instructed to recall for 20 minutes. Another one is the RCFT. This measures visual constructional ability as well as memory, testing both visual and verbal. The last one is the Neuropsychiatric Inventory. This is a interview given by one of the researchers where they assess depressive symptoms in patients with dementia, so those actually affected with AD. So results. So the results of this study was compiled into different tables showing correlations as well as regression analysis. So sleep latency was shown to be negatively correlated with praxis, immediate recall, and recognition. So if we look in this column right here, you can notice that it has a negative correlation with praxis, meaning that they scored a lot less on average. So this was a lot worse than it normally would be. The same thing with immediate and recognition. So immediate recall would just be immediately recalling specific things that the instructor said or instructed them to remember. And then recognition is just the process of that actual remembering. And then sleep duration and sleep deficiency was positively correlated with praxis, meaning those with AD slept for longer periods of time and slept more efficiently because of the length of time they spent sleeping. So these tables show information specific to AD patients. So no correlation was found between the PSQI and MPI scores. So you can see the correlations are relatively low. And then sleep disturbance and total PSQI scores are shown to be associated with indifference in AD patients. So you can see this starred correlation for each one is relatively high compared to the other ones. So there's a noticeable relationship between the two, and this is further proven through regression analysis with a higher beta value than normal. So discussion. So based on the data collected, the article made several conclusions, of which were included sleep problems were associated with BPSD, behavioral psychological symptoms and dementia, and indifference in AD patients. So this is supported by the positive correlations in sleep disturbance, which is a contributor to sleep issues in most people, and then a higher score in the PSQI, which again is indicative of a poor sleeper. Additionally, sleep issues correlated with cognition in Alzheimer's disease. So again, this is supported by the negative correlations of recognition and for both the RCFT test and the SDLT, meaning they scored a lot lower than normal. And then time in bed ended up being a significant factor that affected cognitive functioning in non-AD patients, but not AD patients, strangely enough. So time in bed ended up causing more negative correlations in recognition and response times in non-AD patients, which is very interesting. Overall, this study suggested that nighttime sleep is integral for cognitive function and behavioral and psychological symptoms in those with AD. So the significance of this study: most research involving AD identified daytime sleepiness as the key sleep issue. Very few covered nighttime sleepiness as a key issue. There's no reason why. I think daytime sleepiness was more prevalent in most patients. Additionally, this study gave evidence that sleep problems should be heavily considered when treating anyone with Alzheimer's disease. So, thank you. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week.